Welcome to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant, where we talk about health, well-being, and the love of the divine that exists in all of us. Now, here's your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant.
Hi there, it's Dr. Sola Helsefarm filling in for Parthenia. Oh, we have such an exciting show for you. I've got one of my favorite people in the house. This exciting show that we're going to talk about is going to lead us on a journey of several hundred years that the work that we're going to share and the speaker that we're connecting with today is a life coach. He's an author, singer-songwriter. He has a podcast called Living with Tolle, and their new releases usually rank higher than Oprah and Eckhart Tolle himself. In-house, we have Greg Larsen. Greg Larsen is my husband as well, and so I know his work so beautifully. It has healed my life, and I'm so excited to bring his latest project to all of us out here in the listening world, all of us on Divine Love Talk and CRN. Welcome, Greg Larsen.
Thank you, Dr. Sola Helsefarm.
We get to do this time to time in our beautiful life where we get to do projects together. And so having you on air on the show is so much fun because I know that day we get to spend the day somewhat together. We've both got such busy lives, and you've got a trip coming up to Norway to plant this beautiful pea seed. And we're going to talk about that and your latest endeavor and the latest talks that you'll be giving in Norway coming up.
That's right. It's a very exciting trip. It's happening here in November. And all I can say is that I'm just following how the universe is calling me to serve. You know, this I've been kind of letting this question guide me for many years now. I sit down and ask, how is life calling me to serve? How is the universe calling me to serve? Or you could say God, whatever you prefer. And then I just sit and listen to that. And then opportunities arise and people make requests and I say yes. And so in a few weeks I'll be heading to Norway. And there's other things happening there. I'll be going because I was on this amazing reality TV show, which was a amazing spiritual journey also called Naga, which is one of Norway's top-rated TV shows. And the grand prize for this experience, which involves 12 Americans going back to Norway, discovering their roots, learning about Norway, and the grand prize is a reunion with your Norwegian family. And so I was not the grand prize winner in season 4, but I did get a book with all my family's information. And so in a few weeks I'll be going back to meet my Norwegian family. And they have planned a big reunion and everyone's so excited. I'm excited. So that's part of this journey, is going back to meet my family and bring to fruition this intention I set out many years ago when I first heard of Naga and applied for the second season, and I applied for the third season, and I finally got cast in the fourth season.
And it's such a beautiful journey to be on. It was your mom, the first time that you auditioned, your mom was alive, and it was prior to her cancer diagnosis, and she was rooting for you, and she loved the family that she got to meet there.
That's right.
And by season 2, when you applied again, and then what was it like to finally be cast?
It was a dream come true. It was actually, one of the talks I'm giving. I'm also have a booth, and I'll be speaking at Norway's biggest, health expo or spiritual expo. It's the Vision Expo in Lillestrøm coming up in late November. So I'll have a booth there, and I'll be speaking. And one of the talks I'm giving is, the spiritual lessons from Naga, this journey I took. And, when I first heard about this journey, I took all the advice I learned from the movie The Secret and other teachers who talk about setting intentions and how you use those intentions to manifest. So I just completely visualize, meeting the casting directors, being cast, being on the show. And I not only visualized it, but I felt it deep within my body. And then I wasn't cast the first time I applied, and I was just like, well, this energy is certainly not going to waste. It's out there doing something in the universe. Yes. And I wasn't cast for season 3, and then it finally manifested in being cast in season 4. So part of that journey was really testing and trying out for myself this law of, setting an intention and the law of attraction but being detached. If I would have been attached to that first outcome, applying for season 2 and not getting it, I could have easily given up. But I didn't, and I just allowed whatever energy I was creating through truly experiencing that event or that the show and all the things that happen, experiencing it through visualization and truly feeling it. Those vibrations were being sent out into the universe, and something grand was being orchestrated, and it happened to be being on the show. It's
such a beautiful thing, and I think we kind of all use it when we first set up and meet people and begin dating, and it's like the person of our dreams, and we kind of visualize our imagination and our visual skills to really imagine the best possible outcome that our heart truly, truly wants. And it's something that we're using all the time when we're looking at and imagining these outcomes that are happening. And you just really went into that vision of meeting your family is coming true.
It is coming true, and it's funny. The winner from season 2, Matty Rowe, he met his family, and then they took some pictures from that, and so. It was in a field. There was this group of Norwegians waving flags, and some of them in their bunads, this traditional dress that they wear. Both men and women wear these traditional bunads, which is costumes, or if you want to say that, are really elegant dressing up dresses and nice clothes for the men.
And they have one for each region, and so it's sort of like pilgrim wear, but the New England pilgrim wear
kind of looks like that,
versus maybe the West Coast version of the Native American wear that would wind up being seen. But these bunads are incredibly hand sewn, and the one that you were wearing was amazing.
Yeah, I got to wear one on the show because we participated in the Setten de Mai, which is their Constitution Day. But this picture, I copied up this picture and I printed it out and had it with me. And, it was the show, being on this show and on this journey was such a test mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And at times when it just, my mind was just going crazy, my ego was going crazy trying to figure out how to make this thing happen. Or when I was, forced to go into these individual rounds where someone goes home each week. And I was just feeling down. I would just pull out this picture and look at these people smiling. And even though it wasn't my family, I would look at them and knowing that they're, that's the outcome I wanted to project. And it brought me to a better place. So it was such a powerful thing being able to visualize this outcome of having this reunion with my family. And even in these very trying times, it's what lifted me up continually over and over and over. So truly, if that's what you're looking for, some sort of tip on how to navigate life, having some sort of really positive outcome that you want to create, having a picture of that, and when times get dark, when the ego starts complaining or getting down, bring that out and just send yourself back into that, because that's true. Those positive, uplifting feelings, that's the truth. The negative feelings are just the ego getting all wrapped up into itself, which is a very tiny perspective on life.
That's such a beautiful thing on how to manifest your dreams coming true, taking a desire, turning it into a vision. And I love that question that you started with as well, which is, how is life calling me to serve? And so tell us about this beautiful seed. And I know you're going to give these talks that have been planned for some time in Norway and meet your family. How is the seed coming in to life calling you to serve?
Yeah, well, once that was my guiding question when I was on the show, even though, it's a reality TV show and,
it's the most popular and it's won the Norwegian Emmy, and you've got quite a fan base now, friends that have connected with you that saw you on this show, and your family in Norway you're connected with on Facebook, which is really awesome.
It is awesome.
And, by the time that you were cast and on the show, your mom had already transitioned.
That's right.
And so one of the greatest feelings, I think, is for knowing that it was her desire for you to go and meet your family, as well as your as soon as we met, you had talked about being Norwegian and wanting to go to Norway. And I think one of my first gifts to you was a book on Norway.
Yeah, a picture book.
A picture book on Norway, because I knew it was so important in the Norwegian family. And so talk a little bit about that.
Well, as I was mentioning when I was on the show, that was truly my guiding principle, because it's so easy for the ego to come in and say, what's this going to do for me? How are you going to help me? What are you going to do for me? And instead of being wrapped up in that constricted paradigm, it was always, how can I serve? How can I give here? How can I be of service? How can I contribute to the show, to this episode, whatever that is? And of course, when I was, when I lost the competition in episode 7 and I had to go home, then right away it turned to, I was, for whatever reason, I was cast on this show, and I have this now exposure in Norway and this opportunity with my family. Now, how am I being called to serve again? And so now I got these, this opportunity to go now and be part of this expo and speak. And then the other thing that came along, which was totally, I could have never imagined this ever, but I was offered this opportunity to be a peace ambassador for the Crystal Earth Project and bring a crystal earth seed to Norway, and then find a location and then plant this seed as part of a network of seeds that are being planted all over the world. Many have already been planted in the Himalayas, and there's one coming up in South Africa. There's been in South America. There's several in North America. And their goal is to have 10,000 planted all around the globe. And so this is the first seed going to Norway, and it is my intention to bring as many back as I can as part of this, this global initiative to plant these crystal earth seeds to harness the healing energy of Mother Earth for this transformation of human consciousness. And it's such a beautiful, powerful intention that I totally support.
That's such a beautiful thing, the wholeness.org. It's there's a presence of it online where you can learn more about the seeds, but their director, Lyric Benson, contacted us and contacted you, and it's such a beautiful thing. And we learned about the Seed Project and that knowing, and we sat with and thought about, where is the Earth's energy most beautiful right now, and what do we want to amplify right now? And these seeds that have no human intention, they're designed and created in this beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about the design?
Well, here I'll actually reveal it now to our audience who are able to watch. Here is the crystal earth seed right here.
That's so beautiful.
It's a beautiful structure. Yeah, it came to the founder of Wholeness Group, Matthew Reis. I have to say his name right here.
Yes.
Yeah, Matthew Reislonger. And so this is a design. It's a polyhedron, and if you can see in the middle, there's 3 crystals. So the earth energy comes into this center here, and the crystals create a vortex that amplifies this energy and sends it out into the world, and specifically for human beings to access, so we can transform our state of consciousness and create peace on earth. And so it's an absolutely beautiful piece. And we've had it now for a few weeks in preparation for the trip, and I've had many healers look at it, and they all say the same thing. This is a powerful piece of technology.
It's so beautiful to watch you do the heart activations that you do with this beautiful piece. When we come back from commercial, we are going to talk so much about what Norway offers, about Greg's journey, and about the beautiful talks that you're going to be giving in Norway, along with more about the wholeness.org. Greg Larsen, thank you for being with us. You can see him and his show and his podcast on livingwithtole.com. It's Dr. Sarah Larsen on Divine Love Talk on CRN. In studio, we have someone I'm making googly eyes at because this is my darling, darling husband. He is a renowned author. He's written a book called Better Friends. It's work on forgiveness. He is an expert at singing and songwriting and helping everyone that connects with you connect into the current moment, living in the now. And you're also such an expert at letting people let go and dissolving pain and pain bodies. And so I'm so excited for all the people that get to see you and hear you in Norway. We've got a beautiful crystal seed in studio that you are bringing with you to Norway, and you're going to plant that to really amplify the qualities that the lands in Norway, the people of Norway, and all of the energy that's there, Earth's energy from Norway. Tell me about some of the things that have you choosing this, because we do projects to Egypt. We're going to go to Egypt later next year. Minnesota, all over the U.S., and Norway was a big calling. So tell me.
Well, I think one of the things that comes to mind when you say that is, Norway is, and I'm not the only one with this opinion, but it's one of the most beautiful countries on earth. The natural beauty of Norway is amazing. And on the show, of course, they wanted to showcase that, so we went to some of the most beautiful places in Norway, the fjords and the up north on the Lofoten Islands, just amazingly beautiful places. And so, just look at any spiritual teaching, and at one point or other, they're going to mention one thing that you can do to amplify your presence, to become still and in the present moment, is to be in nature.
Yes.
And literally, when I remember this first location we went to was Geiranger Fjord, and they brought us up to this mountain farm, Skagafla, and we're sitting there, and you look down along the way, and there's this amazing, stunning, just snow-capped mountains with this beautiful fjord 1,000 feet down, and it just immediately stops the mind. It's the beauty is so immense, the mind cannot shrink it down into a compartment. It can't compartmentalize this beauty. It's so immense, and so it just stops the mind. And so it's just a beautiful reminder to spend time in nature, even if it's in a city park, and just look at trees or look at flowers, look at the sky. Anything that's beauty is so profound that the mind can't shrink it down into something and say, look at how neat, and here's the definition of it, and here's what I think of it, and I'm going to complain about it a little bit. It can't do any of that. And Norway just has that kind of beauty. The beauty is so immense. And so that is one quality because we're going to bury this seed in the ground. That's how you do this. You dig a hole 2 to 3 feet down, put the seed in its copper box, put it in the ground, and plant it, and then it starts connecting with the other seeds planted all around the earth, amplifying the energy of these specific locations and sending that out to the other seeds, which they're taking, and they're sending their energy from the Himalayas or Hawaii to this seed. And so it's this beautiful coordinated energy flow with all these seeds amplifying the energy from these sacred places. And Norway's natural beauty is one of the things that's going to be amplified with this specific seed.
That's amazing. And what I love that's come out of Norway, Nobel Peace Prize, some of the most beautiful music and people also from that energy. Princess Martha Louise, actually, the royalty there connects with and channels archangels. And I think that has come out and written several books on the connection with things greater than ourselves that are here with love for humanity. And I believe the earth supports humanity so much. And especially in that region where people take care of each other. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like?
Yeah, I think all the Scandinavian countries are known for that. They have this very egalitarian mindset. And I want to say even specifically in Norway, it has the gap between the common man's wages and the CEO wages. Yeah. That gap is the shortest between all countries. It's they're very focused on, being fair, being egalitarian, everyone being equal, which is one of the reasons why it's one of the most happiest places on earth, happiest countries on earth.
And so I'm so excited that we're going to talk even more about how you can be happy, how we work with and how you work with elevating the happiness quotient in each person and how to reset that bar for themselves. So when we come back from commercial, we're going to talk more with Greg Larsen. You can find out about the seed on wholeness, thewholeness.org. We will see you in just a couple minutes after commercial. And we are back with the glorious, the handsome, the very, very future-oriented visionary, Greg Larsen. He is my husband, as well as being a brilliant singer-songwriter, author. He's got a website called Living with Tolle, Tolle. Living with Tolle is based on the work of Eckhart Tolle and all the spiritual teachings that you've really embodied in the past few years. You are now being called to plant peace seeds and give talks in Norway, which is so exciting. Can we talk a little bit about the spiritual lessons that you learned on this reality TV show, Alt for Norge?
Yeah, well, the one, there's many. It was truly an amazing trip, and it's a whole talk that I'll be giving. Even, this talk will not even be enough time. I could give a full day workshop on the spiritual lessons from Alt for Norge, probably a weekend workshop. It was such an amazing, intense, life-changing, just a true test, like I said, on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. It was really a powerful course in spirit or in personal development, really. It's like one of the best workshops ever created, this ongoing journey. But one of the lessons that I learned, it's kind of a funny story, but in episode 6, we were up above the Arctic Circle in the islands of Lofoten, and that theme for that week was the Vikings. Yes. So we're going to be learning about the Vikings, and then the first team competition was we had to raid a village. So we went down and we raided virgins and goats and gold and grain, all the stuff like that. As villagers were throwing mud at us, and we were up and down these hills. It was a really wild competition, very physical. And then the next competition they had was looking at the inner Viking, your ability to be still on the inside. So the way they set up this competition was they monitored our resting heart rate. Yes. So the day before we were laying down in bed, and then they put these heart sensors on us and they monitored our resting heart rate. And then they hung us out over the fjord. This is above the Arctic Ocean. This is super cold water. So we're dangling out over the fjord off this dock. And so as we're dangling there with our eyes blindfolded, hanging out over the water, our team members are across the way and they're doing some sort of competition like arm wrestling or tug of war or drinking ox blood. And so you can hear things going on, and then Henrietta, the host, is making commentary. And then as you're listening to stuff and listening to Henrietta, either your heartbeat, speeds up or it doesn't. Yes. So it's your ability to control your heartbeat. And they're hanging two people at the same time over the water, and the person whose heart rate has the biggest variation, they're the loser. Oh. And so you're trying to maintain this peace and calmness and stillness as you're hanging out over the fjord and listening to this activity, dreading the fact you might be plunged into ice, frigid water. And they're also they knew what you were afraid of, and a lot of people in the show were afraid of heights. We're a little bit over that, but it was like, I think being hung out over the water, it was probably like a 15-foot drop. It wasn't that crazy, but anyways, it was still being dropped into the water. You didn't know what was going to happen, but you're blindfolded, but you can hear what's going on. And so, I'm a meditator, so I thought I might be pretty good at this competition, but I was up against Eric, and he was, he's very versed. He's actually, works at an aquarium as the shark expert, and he's been diving all of his life, so he knows how to, monitor his breath and control his heartbeat. Yes. And being hung over the water was not a problem for him. But one thing that he happened to do right, and this is specifically probably just for the guys, is that we were put into these harnesses that were hooked up to this line that kept us strung out over the water. And so, we're in this room preparing, me and him, so we're putting our harnesses on, and I see him. He was over there really, adjusting his balls and trying to get him just set up right with this harness. And I was like, I guess if you want to do that, I was kind of tugging on. I think this would be all right. So when they lifted up the harness or the bar that was holding us up and put us out over the fjord, this harness started crushing my balls. And so I'm like, oh, be still, hold still. And I want to raise my hands up and grab this bar and pull myself up because my balls are being crushed. It was so painful. So, of course, my heart rate was, every time I lifted my hands up, you're supposed to just dangle there and breathe and be still. And I'm like trying to lift my hands up and grab this bar and adjust my balls. So anyways, the spiritual lesson I learned from this experience is, it's very difficult to meditate when your balls are being crushed. So for all the guys out there, just beware of that. If you're going to think of something to do, a new way to meditate, and you want to hang yourself on a harness from from a tree branch or from a bar, just make sure your balls are adjusted perfectly well. Otherwise, you're going to have a very difficult time meditating.
And I love how we've done that in workshops for a number of years, where we're not necessarily hanging people up from harnesses, but we'll have an orange with us. We say, when you squeeze an orange, in some of the workshops that we've led, when you squeeze an orange, what you truly get out of that is orange juice. And these situations that really squeeze us, or in your case...
they got squeezed. It was painful. I was like, drop me into the water. I can't take this anymore.
There comes out this, the essence of you, and and so quite often relationships or work situations wind up squeezing us. And I know you take that into how to really still your mind and still your body in those situations where you're really, really being squeezed. So the truest essence, that the juice that is you, winds up coming out. I love that
before we
story.
Move on, one thing I want to say, having your balls being crushed is not the way to meditate. But this crystal earth seed, I've been meditating with this recently since we have it in our home. And this is truly a powerful meditation tool. And the wholeness.org, or the other website is the crystalearthproject.org. People are raising funds, which we're doing. We're raising funds for this. We've raised half the amount so far, which is $500. The seed itself costs $945, and it's all handmade, beautifully made. Comes with this beautiful copper box, so it's well worth every penny. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a page on the wholeness.org or the crystalearthproject.org where you can contribute to this seed for Norway.
Crystalearthproject.org. The Crystal Earth
Project, yeah. And so I've been meditating this over my heart, over my solar plexus, over my third eye, and it's one of the most powerful meditation tools I've ever discovered. And so people are raising funds to plant seeds, but people are also able to buy these for their personal use. So if you'd like to have a crystal earth seed in your home, you can actually go and buy these. So I would totally encourage that, because I have found this to be an amazingly powerful tool for meditation and for activating your chakras. It's been a real powerful tool, and I would really encourage at least exploring, if this is something you want to add to your altar. It's a powerful tool for your altar. I mean, it's a really powerful tool. So I would totally encourage you checking that out and checking out their website and what the Crystal Earth Seed is all about.
It's a palpable, it's an energy that you can feel. It's brought, and we're a really still home to start with, but it's brought even more harmony into our lives. One of the things that we feel, crystals carry the frequency that this hard frequency. These are not programmed crystals, and so they really hold the Earth's energy. And our 9-year-old and our 7-year-old get along so much better because of the energy that's being radiated out. We're homeschoolers, and we have several projects along with writing books and hosting community projects all the way around. Where it's amazing how much more able we've become to do all that we do, because there's this stillness the Earth's energy that comes through with this in our home. And it's been amazing to watch you utilize this beautiful tool to activate and enhance your chakras. Chakras are these energy systems in our body. They've been talked about for thousands of years, 5,000 years worth of science in traditional Chinese medicine and Indian texts. And even here with the 200-year-old science, medical science that we have, allopathic medicine is now identifying chakras as nerve bundles that are in our body. And when those nerve bundles have and are really active, flowing energy back and forth, your ability to move through life becomes enhanced. And so it's one of the greatest reasons to get one of these crystals at home. And Lyric Benson, who's the program director, is so delightful to get on the phone and to work with through their website. And they're dedicated to getting 10,000 of these. And crystal temples, there's no religion involved. There's nothing other than this energy, this feeling of stillness, of what it feels like to take a hike for about 4 hours and clear your mind and clear your spirit and clear your body. That's constantly being felt by having these crystals. I think of the fall season, and I think of what it felt like the first time I saw beautiful leaves all around. As a kid, I moved from a third world country to the U.S. The third world desert country had very little natural coloring other than at botanical gardens. And I got to experience in Cincinnati, Ohio, one of the places that we moved to, the most beautiful colors and this feeling, so much so that I'm almost moved to tears when I think about it. And this crystal feels like that energy of watching brightly red and yellow leaves dangling on trees. Watching as a kid, we watched with such intensity the leaves falling down to the earth, and there's such love and that wells up in my heart when I think of that and the experience and the beauty. And that's what comes with these crystals and the activations. And you're going to be doing that at these talks that you're giving in Norway. You're giving one on forgiveness as well.
Yeah, there's a talk on how to let go and forgive. Again, going back to the show, it's such a powerful process, this powerful spiritual process, because you're so invested. When we were in Norway, there was no connection with the States, so I had no calls or emails to Sarah. We had no cell phones, no emails, no computers. We were just totally in the Ultfanorga bubble, as the crew used to call it. And then you get super close with the other contestants, because all there is, if there's no phones and cell phones and computers and email and internet, all that, there's none of that, then what is there? Time to talk and connect.
Yeah.
So the contestants get super close, and we learn about their family and their farm. And some people, if we're in that region, they actually take them to their family farm. They don't meet the family, but they get to go see this farm. And so we're all like rooting for each other and caring for each other. It was such a powerful process. And so, so you're so invested in this journey, and all of a sudden, if you're the loser, like I was in episode 7, you're taken from the whole process. You're on a plane the next day, and the next day I was in Los Angeles with Sarah and the kids, and I was like, wow! I was like, and of course, I lost this competition, this performance competition, where the judges were 5-year-old kids. We were singing this pirate song on Norway's most famous pirate ship. And I could not let go of that. My mind was like, oh, if you just would have done this, if you just would have done that, if you just would have done this, if you could have done this different. And, it's the same whenever we're in a situation. I think of sports athletes when they miss the kick or they miss that shot at the buzzer. It's like you go back and you're just reliving that over and over because the ego's trying to problem solve, but it's in the past. You can't do a thing about it. And so it was a powerful process of letting go, learning to let go of that. And what I found most useful in doing that was what was positive in the future that I could look forward to. which was asking this question, how am I being called to serve?
Yes.
So since I went to Norway, and there's this, there's these opportunities to serve. What was that? And so every time the mind came up with this, there was this negative, or there was this situation, it's like, focus on how I'm being called to serve, and all these magical things happening now. And believe me, when I signed up for this expo, the people there were, and I wanted to do other talks, so they set me up with a center in Oslo to do this other talk on how to forgive. And then I'm going to go to Stavanger and meet my family. And I said, is there someone there? They said, sure, connect with them. And I talked to that person, and they were like, sure, you can do a talk here. And then I said, I need to find a place to plant the seed. We would love for you to be. It's like I've been so supported every step of the way that there's all this goodness happening. So every time my mind tries to sneak back into, if you just would have sung a different, performed a different way, or done this gimmick with the kids, you would. It's like, no, look to how I'm being called to serve, because I can't do anything about what happened, but I have all the control I can possibly give to how I'm being called to create and give to this new journey I'm on now with going to Norway. It's now I'm on Alt for Norge, but it's my own personal journey of Alt for Norge and giving all I can for Norway on this return trip home.
And so that is so beautiful. All for Norway, and using all of Norway for all of the earth, and using
all for Norway is going to be amplified through this seed.
Yes,
yeah, totally.
All for Norway, for this wholeness project, for all of the ones that get to experience stillness and peace and are able to learn how to reframe horrific incidences into purposeful processes. And so you do a day workshop. And so what are some of the places that you're going to be?
Well, I'll be at this this organization called Vision. They're organizing this it's the biggest spiritual expo in Scandinavia, I think they say, but in Norway for sure. And so I'll have a booth there, and I'll be doing healings there. And then I'll be speaking on forgiveness and the spiritual lessons of Alt for Norge, and there's some other locations too we can talk about.
And you can connect with the seed.
Yeah, I'll have the seed on display at the booth. Yeah.
Seed, so everyone can come meet the seed and meet Greg Larsen at. And what is the expo called again?
It's the Vision Expo. It's the alternative fair in Lillestrøm, which is right outside Oslo.
So we're so looking forward to hearing about that. We'll come back after break and talk more about what is experienced and some more of these great stories. Thank you, Greg Larsen, for being here.
You're so welcome, Dr. Sarah.
It's Dr. Sarah Larsen on CRN Network with Divine Love Talk. Next week, Parthenia will be back, and she is going to be talking about overcoming the biology of fear. And so she's at ROMP, the Jay-Z Night School in Tacoma, Washington, in that area, and she's going to be broadcasting on removing fear, the neurology of fear. And on the break, Greg and I were just talking, Greg Larsen and I, about this seed and part of what is coming through. I love what we were talking about.
Yeah. This has been a guiding question for me also, which is based on a Native American wisdom.
Yes.
Which is any decision we make, we must consider the next seven generations. And so that, when you think about that, it's like, wow, that's a ways out.
Yes.
And, but there's things we can do. And, the Crystal Earth Project and planting 10,000 seeds and having these seeds amplify positive, nurturing, healing earth energy. These are made of copper and crystal. They'll be around for a very long time. And right now I can think of no better project to give my time to invest my life energy in than this, because I know for a fact that these will have an effect on the next 7 generations.
And so by participating in this project, you're amplifying your frequency for the next 7. For anyone listening, I would so encourage you to get in touch with Greg Larsen through his email, which is G-I-G Larsen, Larsen, @gmail.com, to learn more about his trip coming up to Norway and to just be in contact with us. And then for everyone wanting to understand these crystal seeds, the crystalseedproject.org and also the wholeness.org. There's a lot about it on my website as well, drsarahlarsen.com. We love you, Greg. All of us, generations down. And I know we're both like tearing up because it's so to affect the world for generations to come. There's nothing more that my heart desires to be able to give that far down.
You know, and as we started the show with it, it's very intentional.
Yes.
You know, it was the intention that I set and visualizing that created the audition and then the being cast on the show, which is, 12 people out of thousands that applied, so I feel very grateful and blessed and definitely purposeful around why I was on the show. And the same thing with this, this project is very intentional. It's a global peace initiative. And so as these seeds are being planted, they're amplifying Earth's energy for peace on Earth. And so that's super intentional. And so, like I said, it's like, and maybe there's lots of other wonderful projects out there that I'm not aware of. I know I'm aware of this one, though. So this is the one that I'm committed to. And I'm a peace ambassador for the Crystal Earth Project. And I'm so honored to be that and to be bringing this seed to Norway to amplify Norway's amazing qualities to the rest of the planet.
Yes, awesome. Thank you
You're so welcome.
much. Thank you, Peace Ambassador Greg Larsen. Thank you, Crystal Seed Project.
Crystal Earth Project.
crystalearthproject.org for choosing you, for choosing this beautiful venue as well and saying yes. We're grateful to Norway and to all the people that will receive this beautiful crystal.
Yeah, and Sola Helsefarm is the place where I'll be planting it near Stavanger.
And so I think many, many people will come visit that location.
Yeah.
And so thank you to all the people there. Thank you to CRN. And we're so grateful. Check out thewholeness.org. Check out crystalearthproject.org and also giglarsen@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
So welcome, Dr. Sarah.